So I've taken a few liberties, obviously. Just I don't have enough mythically inspired jewellery to create this. So what I've done is I've put myself in the centre of the story as the goldsmith, as a storyteller. And I do actually believe it to be completely true. So jewellery has been around since the beginning of civilization. They found evidence 100,000 years ago of pieces of jewellery that were being made. People have always wanted to use jewellery to just decorate themselves and adorn themselves, but also they use it for different meanings. Symbols of love, wealth, status, friendship, protection, and requiems for loss, to name but a few. I have always had an interest in jewellery as a means of the human connection and creating connections and the bonds that they are made with them, and the memory and sentiment that are given to such an object. Before I started doing the jewellery, I actually ended up doing a year in Maynooth doing anthropology and Greek and Roman studies. So, you know, quite possibly this might be where some of it stemmed from, and also how I've come around full circle and ended up back here, you know, in this kind of situation. So for my college degree show, I did this whole series of games that could be worn, the wear me, see me, play me, and how people could wear them and interact with each other. And then, you know, this was before the time of mobile phones, or not mobile phones, but of the smartphones where, you know, you could just play your game on your phone. So we needed something else, but it was quite well received. Then I went on and used the idea of the unity and the bonds, and I created this series of tying the knot cufflinks for the groom and the groomsmen. So the pun is completely intended, and you have the Celtic knot there. So we'd have to practice doing the Celtic knots when we were training, because they're very, very hard to do, but you always have to have the knot going over, under, over, under. So it's the symbol of infinity. So, you know, the symbol of the Celtic knot is so appropriate for anything to do with the idea of unity and marriage and that kind of stuff. So there's one there for the groom and the groomsmen, and then the circular one for more people. It was a big wedding. Then I was trying to kind of find stuff that was somewhat inspired by the Celtic symbols. So I did actually use the symbol of the triscel, and I still do, and I love it as a symbol, and I've always loved it, and I've used it even when I was, you know, 10, 11. I used to love just drawing it. I presume it's from visiting Newgrange. So I would see this as being the symbol broken down to its most simple form, which is something else that I quite like to look at in terms of line and shape, and trying to keep things as simple as possible. So although I don't generally intend to go out and create kind of Celtic themed jewellery, you can see the influence of the Celtic design and narrative in my work. It just can't help it. And obviously the green is there. This, although it's not necessarily Celtic, it's the whole idea of the mythology. And I had been doing a yoga course, and we were all talking about the tree, the mind, body, and the spirit. And you know, the triangle was always quite a symbol that spoke to me, or I liked the symbol of the triangle. So having the three sides, so when you have the balance of the mind, body, and the spirit, and then you have the center, the one, the unity, it's complete. So I do like to put kind of quirky, witty titles on my pieces, probably purely for my own amusement. So these are pieces. These are some of my. I love these pieces. So the stories, for doing this, I look back over so many pieces that I've made in the past, I don't know how many years, like 15 or 20 years maybe. And every single person that's come in to have something created has had their story that they wanted to mark or to remember something, if it's for symbols of loss or for or just the one on the top left there is the heart. So the guy wanted to get something for his girlfriend. She was studying to do medicine, and she wanted the anatomical heart, or he wanted to show the anatomical heart. So it's the heart at the front, but then when you turn it around, you have the anatomical heart on it. Then you've also got like symbols of butterflies. People always associate like the likes of feathers or butterflies or hearts with, you know, just the butterflies, the transformation, the feather. You'll hear people always saying that they see feathers or butterflies or things, you know, after people have passed. There's a Aran Islands version of the Bridget's Cross there, because the rushes that they have don't bend properly, so they had to come up with their own new version of it. And I saw it. I was cycling by down in the Aran Islands, and I just saw this weaver there sitting outside, and I like reached the brakes on my bike going, wow, what's that cross? I've never seen it before. Yeah, and so the next one is adding to stories. So like gold is something, and the stones that come from the earth, they're all things that can be reused and melted down, but people have so much sentiment in their old pieces. So the amount of pieces I've made now, like especially like new wedding rings or engagement rings, where you're melting down their old gold into the new piece so that they still have a part of the story with them. I love it. I love doing it. The piece on the very right there, I don't know if you quite see it, is three old rings that he had, and he wanted to wear it. He wanted something, he wanted to be able to wear them all. So I made it into the spinner ring. So the center part actually spins around, and it's a bit of fun as well. But yeah, it's a very nice part of the goldsmithing stories.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff I'm doing now is just actually just making really beautiful pieces. So, you know, like people then attach their new stories, their own meanings to pieces. And the pieces, then I often have people saying, I want to get something I can pass down. I want to be able to pass it on to the next, you know, to the next generation. So a lot of the time, I was the first goldsmith in Ireland to start using fair trade gold, which was, you know, a really big thing for me at the time, and it's quite important to me. And then I've also started using as much as I can ethically sourced stones. Not always possible, but that is what I'm trying to continue to focus on. And then we've new mythology range in the making, so I have loads of ideas now swirling around, and keep an eye and an ear out, and hopefully we'll have some new bard inspired jewellery pieces coming soon.
Yes.
And that is it.